Pre-tax accounts, Roth accounts, which accounts should you draw from first when you're in retirement? I've got 3 scenarios, that and more, coming up. My name is Mike Bernard. I'm the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. Do you know what tax diversification is? And better yet, do you have it? We all know what diversification is. Don't have all your eggs in one basket. And so from a tax standpoint, don't have all your eggs in one basket. And that means, so early in my career, was working with someone who was saving up aggressively for retirement. And because they were ahead of pace on their retirement goals, they kept moving up the age at which they were hoping to be done. And I get it. I'd be in the same boat, understand. And here's the issue. In their mind, they were thinking, I got to get to $1 million. It was this race to $1 million. Now, this was, almost 2 decades ago now. Gosh, I'm old. And so it was a race to this $1 million. And they got there, and they wanted me to essentially bless, you can retire. And of course, I want to, but here's the thing. There's 5 factors to your retirement, and this individual's as well. And when we did that discipline, and we looked at what the spending would be to withdraw enough to supplement his Social Security, he wasn't even on Social Security, wouldn't be at that time, he's going to retire before that. But the taxes that would need to be paid, I sort of came to this revelation, and as I was talking through it with him, we sort of both stumbled upon, yeah, you were working real hard to get to $1 million. You don't have $1 million in there. It's not yours. It's not all yours. You have maybe $700,000 in there. About 30% is probably Uncle Sam's. And it looks like, it's like having an unvested 401k. Your balance, you can see on your statement the big number. It's growing, it's big, and oh, that's mine. If you're not vested, then it's not all yours. And when you only have pre-tax dollars, and I hate to be cynical or paint a dark cloud here, but yeah, some of that's Uncle Sam's. Now, we've done we've provided lots of content, and I'm going to tell you, you need comprehensive financial planning because there's strategies around that. But if there's no tax diversification and it's all pre-tax, then you don't have choice. All your eggs are in one basket. So let's go through a couple scenarios and talk about, well, if you do have multiple baskets, which one should you draw from first in retirement? Scenario number 1. You've got a chunk of pre-tax dollars and then some Roth dollars as well. And I think this is the most common scenario, that folks that are on the cusp of retiring today have been funding, or at least started their career, all of it, most of it going pre-tax, because that was really the only option early in your career. And those early dollars are the ones that have been working the hardest, growing the most, compound for you over time. And so of your, let's say, $1 million that you have saved up, probably 2/3 of that is pre-tax and 1/3 of it is Roth. You do that 5-factor retirement plan, you've worked with your CFP, you've got the green light, I can retire with clarity and confidence. This is fantastic. I'm ready to be done. As you're drawing out your dollars from your retirement accounts, should you draw from the pre-tax first or the Roth? I know emotionally, I've just seen it without any of the coaching. You want to draw from the Roth first because you don't want to pay the taxes. You've been paying taxes your entire life. You want to draw from the dollars that are tax-free. Here's the deal. All things being equal, and there could be some planning scenarios that would impact the order that you do this, it is often better to draw from the pre-tax first and let the Roth dollars continue to grow tax-free. Here's why. There's 2 benefits for drawing the pre-tax dollars first. Number 1, drawing dollars out of the pre-tax side out there in the future essentially is going to limit or diffuse your required minimum distribution. Pre-tax dollars, eventually you're going to be required to start drawing a chunk of those out, whether you need it, whether you want it, whether you'd like to or not, it's required. And Roth dollars, there is no required minimum distribution. Therefore, if you need to draw money out to supplement your Social Security, drawing out of the pre-tax side essentially is going to help manage or limit your RMDs out there in the future. Okay, and so that's number 1. And then the second main reason, I actually would have started with this one, and that is the other main benefit for drawing out of the pre-tax side first is The Roth dollars, the benefit is on the growth because it grows tax-free. So give that money as much time as possible to grow tax-free for your situation. That will help you build more wealth over time. That's the most common scenario. Second scenario, though, is one that I would say is more ideal, and it goes back to this tax diversification. In this scenario, say that you've got a chunk of pre-tax dollars, a chunk of Roth dollars, but then you also have a chunk of non-retirement account dollars. And this could be, well, I received an inheritance, and mom and dad, when they passed away, inherited some of their cash and their house, we sold it, and so now I've got 120 grand of non-IRA dollars. Or maybe you've been someone that likes to save up a lot of cash, and so here you are at retirement, and you've got pre-tax dollars, you've got Roth dollars, and then you've got some other cash or a non-IRA, an individual account, a joint account at your disposal as well. Then, which account should you draw from first? You've got to do comprehensive financial planning because there is not a one-size-fits-all. But oftentimes, the order that you should draw out of, it's going to make the most sense to draw out of those non-retirement dollars first, and then the pre-tax account, and then the Roth. And here's why. When you draw out of, let's say, cash that you've saved up, excess cash, okay? You're not going to want to draw it down to zero, but if you've got excess cash that you've saved up, as you're drawing those dollars and supplementing your Social Security with that, is that taxable? No, it's not. So you're in a situation early in retirement where you are in a very low tax situation because most of the money that you're supplementing or that you're living on is not taxable income to you. You've already paid tax on it. That opens the door for you to do some strategic Roth conversions to get more money, to pay as much money in taxes at the lowest possible rates so that you can have more dollars growing tax-free for your financial life. It helps you manage IRMA, helps you manage required minimum distributions, and therefore drawing dollars out of that non-IRA dollars, those non-tax shelters first, makes the most sense. If you're thinking, well, I do have some non-IRA dollars, but they're invested and it's capital gain money. Well, there again, I would also consider using those dollars first because capital gains are at a favorable tax rate, either 0% or 15%. That's going to be lower, no matter the situation, that will be lower than what the taxes will be on that pre-tax, those pre-tax dollars. Therefore, again, opening the door for Roth conversions or for some other tax planning strategies. So that's the second scenario, still common, where you've got pre-tax, Roth, and non-retirement accounts. I would draw from the non-retirement accounts first, then pre-tax, saving those Roth dollars so that they grow, have as much time as possible to grow tax-free for your future. All right, finally, third scenario. Third scenario, you've got maximum tax diversification. You've got a chunk in pre-tax, you've got a chunk in Roth, you've got some non-IRA dollars, and then you've also been shoeboxing your HSA. You've been investing in your HSA, you've been contributing the maximum amount to your HSA, and you have not been drawing it out as you've had medical expenses. Or maybe you have, but you haven't had a lot of medical expenses. Wow, that's fantastic, good for you. And you've got a chunk of dollars in your HSA. In that scenario, I would go back to the second scenario and I would draw from your non-IRA dollars first, then your IRA, then your Roth. Well, then what's the approach with your HSA? The approach with your HSA is you want those dollars to grow tax-free as long as possible, but you also want to be aware of how much you're going to be able to draw out of those and reimburse yourself for medical expenses you're incurring real time or that you've incurred in the past. So you want to do that tally, and then you want to find strategic times where you draw those dollars out tax-free. Here's an example. Well, we're drawing dollars out of our non-IRA account, and we're doing a Roth conversion up to the top of the 12% tax bracket, but we're young and healthy, and this is the year we wanted to do the Europe trip. Or this is the year that, that youngest child is getting married and they're doing a destination wedding and we really want to go all out. Well, in that scenario, again, assuming it all works in your financial plan, that's where you might say, okay, there's a chunk of dollars we have paid out of pocket for medical expenses that we could draw from the HSA and not pay any tax. Let's do so in that year strategically. or maybe out there in your mid to late 70s where you're looking at your legacy and you've got all of these receipts or reimbursable expenses from your HSA, and you've delayed long enough and you say, I'm out there, I'm close to 70 or I'm in my 70s, time to start drawing some of these dollars out and kind of using that reimbursement. So tax diversification, guys, it's a real thing. It's a real benefit. So if you're on the cusp of retirement, work with your certified financial planner to strategize, optimize, to see where you should be drawing dollars from first. If retirement is still a few years off, do you have tax diversification? Is your tax shelter strategy such that you're creating tax diversification, this choice for you out there in the future? You're going to want it. It's a benefit. Work with your certified financial planner. If you don't have a CFP on your team, you can contact one on my team. Find us online, Korhorn.com. That's Korhorn with K, wisemoneyshow.com. You can find us there as well, or send us an email, info@Korhorn.com. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.